Three. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sea of Tranquilities, the review crew, and we are this week's review crew. I'm your host, Jamie Laszlo. I was gone for a week, but hey, I'm back. I want to thank Pete for holding down the fort. I say hold down the fort, but it's his fucking channel. But thanks
I
for
thought it did
holding down the
okay,
fort
yeah.
on your own channel, Pete, and filling in for me. But I'm back this week with a brand new crew. This week we got Ryan Scow. We got Karen La Preziosa. We got Davey Gallagher and Rick Labonte. And that is your review crew for this week. So we're going to give you some new releases that came out over the past, I don't know, few weeks, couple months, and give you our thoughts about them. And I'm going to start with Ryan and go around to Karen and so on and so on. So Ryan, what you got this week?
All right, well, I'll just throw a little disclaimer. I was invited kind of last minute, so I buy new music relentlessly. It's kind of a problem, but I threw my thoughts together really quickly here. So I'm gonna go to an album that came out in February. These are both metal albums, underground metal albums. The band is from Dublin, Ireland, and the label that released it is from Dublin, Ireland. The band is Asturian Vigil, and the album, I don't want to butcher this, but I usually butcher stuff. Unveiling the Brockthal. I don't know if you can see that. So this is a like combination black heavy metal album, a brand new band. This is their first release uh, on Invictus Productions, also from Dublin, Ireland. Owner label is a friend of mine, so I said, you know what? This is a great album, so I wanted to talk about it. So when I'm saying black metal and heavy metal, I'm thinking more of in the classic sense. So the first band that I would say come to mind, best reference, Merciful Fate. They have that dark, in this case, and then these guys aren't satanic so much, but Merciful Fate, where they have that sort of dark feeling, but the music is also very classic heavy metal. Lots of classic metal leads, a lot of lead guitar, a lot of that kind of that classic 80s metal feeling, but it's soaked in a lot of early 90s black metal too. Not so much the Norwegian stuff that I know like me and Nick talk about a lot on Hudson Valley Squares. But and I also want to say like Celtic Frost, like bands like that. There's only 4 songs on this album, and they're all quite long. So that when it comes to writing metal like this, that does become a challenge to keep the song interesting for the duration. When you start going to 6, 7, 8 minute songs of this kind of music, it's real easy to just start repeating yourself or just lose the plot and go off, 3 or 4 minute segments that really don't add anything to the song. And you're like, that could have been a 3 or 4 minute song. There was no reason to make it 8 minutes. I can say these guys don't have that problem. The songs definitely were well put together. They flow well. I always like when these kind of longer songs, it's like 2 songs on side A, 2 songs on side B. It's like, I don't know, it's aesthetically pleasing. And so I'm not going to really bother picking out an individual song because, like I said, it's a vinyl. It's perfect. You throw it on side A, side B. It just flows very naturally as an album. So, yes, the lyrics, which I do apologize, but I had a little more time. I didn't really get my thoughts together too much. They do deal more, like I said, these guys aren't really satanic. So it deals more, my understanding is like Irish mythology, folklore, a lot of old Celtic folklore and stuff like that, which is cool because how many times can you really write about Satan? I don't get tired of it, but it's an honest, claim to us say, can you really just you're beating that dead horse quite a bit. So these guys go down a different path lyrically. Now, even though I'm mentioning some kind of classic heavy metal bands and some early black metal, they don't really sound like a lot of other things. They are pretty unique, which is good for a band right out of the bat. They're not like coming out of the gate emulating their idols, and now a little bit into their career, they're kind of finding themselves. So they come out pretty strong. I can't speak too deeply as far as these guys' previous bands, how much time they've been, playing music, but from what I could tell, they're all pretty young guys. So good on them. Right out of the gate, writing a good album. So the band is Asturian Vigil. The album is Unveiling the Brockthal on Invictus Productions. If you're in the States, I know there are a lot of places in the States where you can buy the releases from that record label. If you're in Europe, you can obviously order right from Invictus. Great label, great service. Uh, yes, highly recommend this. If you like Merciful Fate, Celtic Frost, if you like early black metal, but you don't like when it starts to go off into and lose that classic heavy metal spirit, which is to me that's big because at some point you replace so many things. It's like, well, all right, this is okay, but does this really have anything in common with like Sabbath or Iron Maiden or Priest or like, the bands that basically built the genre? Nothing's wrong with going off in your own direction, but at some point it becomes like sort of its own thing. Loses the connection to like the roots of the music. And these guys don't have that. They're doing their own thing while still maintaining that connection, which is kind of a tough act to follow, kind of a tough thing to do, to kind of like walk that tightrope a little bit. So I think to do it effectively. So that is my first album.
Can
I'm
you
gonna say
understand the lyrics when he sings?
no, it's harsh vocals. Yeah, both of my
Well, you can do harsh black vocals sometimes and still pronounce the words sometimes.
it's borderline.
Yeah.
I admit, as much as I love this kind of music and I own zillions of albums of it, I'm not great with picking the lyric. Like if I read along in the booklet, I'm like, okay, I can hear what he's saying reading along. But if I don't have the booklet in front of me, I struggle with it, which is weird because I've been listening to it for so long and so much of it. But that's how it is. So this guy, it is a little tough to pick out exactly what he's saying. Not impossible, but a little tough.
I feel like with these bands, the more legible the logo is, the easier it is to hear the lyrics when they sing.
That's
The more sticky it is, the harder.
So you can make out pretty easily what he
yeah, you can kind of make it out.
That's not too crazy.
Yep.
And it's I'd say like 5 out of 10 on the legibility scale. I don't worry about it too much because after I've heard it a few times and I kind of know what they're singing, then you get that memory repetition. And it's fine. But right off the bat, I don't always pick it up so well, but that's what we got.
All right, Karen, your first pick.
My first pick is Acid Mammoth. For those who go to Let's Get Physical, check
There
me
you
out,
go.
dudes. I got my records. I'm starting to do my collection again. Acid Mammoth, I like it. It's they're from Greece. Father and son play guitar. I love that aspect of it. I know 2 people who play music with their fathers, and it's a touching thing for them. It's very special. So I think that's really cool about this band. They are your typical stoner doom metal.
Getting high with your dad.
What's that?
Getting high with your dad, I'm sure.
Well, they're Greek, so I don't know. Maybe they party a little bit better. I just think that it comes out great out of the gate. First side is really heavy. I love that opener. Supersonic Megafauna Collision is the name of the album and the first track. The first track is great. And second, third, it's 6 songs. The first side I really love. It's thick, chunky riffs. That's what I want when I get a record like this. Then we get to side B and it gets a little slow and spacey. That's not really what I want to hear. The last song, Tusco's Last Trip, it does get heavier and it picks up the pace a little bit, but it's like too little too late. One with the Void, it has like a little bit of a Middle Eastern feel in the middle of that, and it gets a little bit more psych, but it's not really what I want. I want to hear Acid Mammoth. I want to hear that cumbersome, heavy mammoth making its way, stomping across the plains, and I only get that for the first half of this record. But would I buy the vinyl again? Nah, I would have got the CD. But I want to reiterate, first side, Supersonic Megafauna Collision, Peace Man, Fuzzorgasm, and Garden of Bones, I really like. I like this first side. Second one, I don't know.
It's not vinyl worthy.
Cumbersome and chunky.
Karen, do you have the Caravan, the one before that?
I stream it. I think that one is so much better.
I like that album. I was just going to ask you because I don't have that one, and I was going to ask you what you thought was better. Obviously, by this feedback already, the last one was better, huh?
I think the last one was more consistent.
Okay.
Not
You
to
hold
say
it
that
up.
this is bad, or this is
You hold it up
something
like right
that
in front of the camera.
What's that?
I want to see that full cover. I like that. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, you got a little dude. Oh my God, right here, and then there's
with the sword and the that's cool as shit. I like that.
Yeah,
it is cool. I mean, one thing about stoner and doom, they always have great graphics and aesthetics and stuff like that. But Rick, getting back to what you're saying, this is nothing to be embarrassed about. This is still a good record, and some people might be into the slower paced, kind of more chill parts of it. I want the riff. I want the chunky, fat, lumbering mammoth of a riff.
Yeah. I notice when I listen to it, I'm kind of checking out in the second half of it, not
I'm
paying
glad you
any
said that.
attention to it, and coming back to it and go, oh shit, I got to pay attention.
Yeah.
It kind of loses me there for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I didn't really see much feedback about that record online, and you know, I thought it was just me, but no, I'm glad you said that. Yeah,
But it's a solid record.
it's a solid, like I said, nothing to be
Okay.
ashamed of. It's a solid record. First side is great for me. Second side is a little snoozy, but it's fine.
All right. Cool. Nice, honest opinions. Davey,
That's what
what
we're
you got?
revealing, right?
Yes, yes. Not
That's
everything's
right.
gonna be 5 stars.
Yeah, right on.
Yes, not the 5-star crew. Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Well, I'll be talking about the new album by Ian Hunter,
Oh, look at that. I got that too.
Defiance Volume 2. It's nothing to do with Defiance Volume 1, so don't know what the Volume 2 thing's about. It's just another Ian Hunter album. No idea. I mean, apart from the fact that he's got friends on it, but who cares? This is a terrific album. It's much better than the first one, which is another reason why I don't think part 2 helps it. Ian Hunter, of course, of Mott the Hoople fame, is now 85 years old, rather shocking. He's older than any Beatle would have been, in case of 2 of them. He's older than any Rolling Stone. He's too old to be a boomer. That's how old Ian Hunter is. And yet he's still fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. His voice is weathered, it's beat up, but it's still fantastic. And his lyrics are still fantastic. And his attitude, which is probably his best asset, always was, right back to the hit making days of all the young dudes and all the way to Memphis, is still there. And he's still got a full head of hair at his age as well. Is it all his? I don't know. Anyway, the album itself could be one of these, we all know them, superstar affairs where you get in everybody you know who's famous, and it sounds kind of generic because nobody's in the same room at the same time. I'm going to say superstars on here. Jeff Beck's on here, so you can tell it wasn't recorded last week. Taylor Hawkins is on here again. Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick. In fact, a couple of members of Cheap Trick are on here. 3 members of Stone Temple Pilots are on here. Brian May's on here. But it never sounds like one of those And Friends albums that I struggle with a lot of the time, because it feels in a lot of places like those kind of albums are in search of songs, and they're getting in Friends as the gimmick to boost sales. Here, it feels like they've just been employed as the musicians, and this would have been a terrific album regardless of who was on it. The songs themselves, there's going to be nothing massively surprising for an Ian Hunter fan, but that's a good thing in this case. He's just doing what he does ridiculously well. So you get tracks like People, which kicks you off with a real heavy, hard, glam, obviously, almost a bit punkish in quite a few places, anti-consumerism, rant against everything from what do you call that avenue in New York? That Mad Men was set on. Was that Madison Avenue?
Fifth Avenue.
Wall Street?
Yes, something like that.
Park
Not Wall
Avenue.
Street. But hey, throw Wall Street in there too. He's angry about everything on this album. It's one of those good old ranty albums. Because then he goes on to how the news channels just tell people what they want to hear. It's one of those kind of ranty songs. I mean, it's called People, and it's essentially about that kind of thing. Just the issues that people have with getting through their lives without being lied to every 5 minutes. But then you get tracks, then you get tracks that aren't as preachy as that, thank goodness, because we've all had enough preachiness in our music in the past few years. So you get tracks like The Third Rail, which is a really sad, slow country blues, a bit Stonesy, a bit Keith Richards Stonesy, if Keith was doing one of his tracks, about a woman being murdered at a train track, which again, couldn't be further removed from the couple of tracks that were on there before it. And that's got a great guitar solo from Jeff Beck. I think it's one of the last things he recorded. But then you go on to something like This Ain't Rock and Roll, which is him having a rant about, okay, it's a bit of a boomery rant, even though he isn't a boomer, as I said, about how a lot of modern music ain't rock and roll.
Yeah, I like that song.
It's okay, isn't it? It sounds very Stonesy. And a lot of this album, I think, is more Stonesy in an authentic way than that new Stones album was, Hackney Diamonds. Because this sounds like a more natural album, whereas that sounded like the Stones saying, what do we sound like? Oh yeah, that's what we sound like. Let's just do that. This to me would appeal to a lot of the same people that bought that Stones album, and it's a much more organic version. A track like Weed, it should be a gimmicky track. It's just him singing about we should legalize weed everywhere and help people chill out. It's actually a really brilliant composition with great lyrics, really funny lyrics. And that's the track that STP are all over, most of them. A few of them are missing for other obvious reasons. And he takes it seriously. It's not done as a joke. It's not done as a gimmick. And that really helps the album all over, to be honest. Tracks like What Would I Do Without You is his first ever duet. I mean, he's recorded 1,000,001 songs in his career, but that's the first time he's ever had a duet. And it's with Lucinda Williams, who again has a very hoarse, rough voice, but it works perfectly with Ian Hunter's weathered voice now. They sound terrific together, phenomenal. And she kind of tones her shtick down a little bit. Lucinda can be a little bit over the top, the modern Lucinda for me, but she's great with Ian Hunter here. Everybody's Crazy But Me is another really glam stomper. There's just loads of cool stuff here. Hope ends you on a kind of triumphant, upbeat, yes we can kind of thing. The only thing that pissed me the fuck off was going into Record Store Day and seeing it on the racks when flipping through, and the record was there, and I didn't really take notice for a second because hey, I just bought the CD last week, and here's the LP sitting there. And Record Store Day, I thought, well, it'll just be a colored vinyl or something. Who cares? You know, there's 4 extra tracks on the Record Store Day version you don't get anywhere else.
And yellow vinyl.
Yeah, well, that it can go fuck itself. Right?
Say it.
I mean, I've just bought the fucking album, so essentially you're bringing out a special edition the day after release date. I'm not having that. So
Yeah.
I agree.
and I think that's gimmicky as well, the whole Sun Records thing, because if you see that, I think your inclination would be to imagine that he's doing a covers album of rockabilly stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Ian Hunter does Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, Johnny Burnett, etc. It's nothing like that. It's just a pure Ian Hunter album. Yeah, it's brilliant stuff from start to finish for anybody who likes Mott the Hoople, Ian Hunter, or anyone who just wants to hear a good modern album from one of the old guard doing a punky, glammy, funny, acidic takedown of society from a grumpy old man's point of view, who still sounds great in his own way.
All right, you're making me want to listen to it again.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Hit pause.
Tomorrow. We got work to do. Rick, what you got?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation, and it's always a pleasure to see you guys, and appreciate you staying up for us, Davey. Originally, I was supposed to, just so you know, Jamie's well organized. For those out there, just to know, try to put this together. It's not an easy task, and I'm sure he respects what Pete does. But also to keep track so we don't steal each other's thunder, we made sure that we all have albums, and it's okay if we can all talk about the same album if we have it. So originally I was going to talk about Ghost Story, but Pete went on it. I want to talk about it, and we did that review, so check it out. But with his blessing, because I had to find out what he hasn't reviewed just to make sure, and I I want to stay on the theme of BOC, Blue Oyster Cult. And I told him about the live album they put out. And he said, sure, talk about it, because I don't have it yet. And this came out in December of last year. So I just wanted to make sure that we didn't go too far away to slip through the net. But this is called the 50th Anniversary, live in New York City, first night, and it's a deluxe version. Now, this is great because, right on, my friend, they're touring basically the last album, right? Symbol Remains, plus celebrating 50 years. And with this double album, you get a DVD. And the DVD will also feature the entire performance, and Albert, as a guest of played drum, played guitar, comes on stage on a couple of songs. So it's kind of nice to see the full circle, 50 years of the bandmates. They do a set list that really covers the whole anthology pretty damn good. In fact, from that last album that they were touring, they played 4 songs. The first 3 from the album is on there. So you like That Was Me, Box in My Head, Tainted Blood, plus they did Train Roll, Lenny's song. So I recommend you get it because, they've always been famous. And I know Jamie and I know Ryan, I'm sure most of you probably have all the famous live albums that we're known for. But in the most recent years, when they put out a live record, they always include a DVD now. Like this one is The Agent of Fortune entirely, and this was live in Cleveland. So I was really happy that if they were going to be the last live album, this is definitely a good way to go. I don't know if they mean they have a second night that could be extended later on, who knows? But this was the first night of that weekend that they filmed it. And if you want to check out, they're in good form. They sound great. And the sound of the live concert is just like everything we known them to do. It kicks ass. You even make the studio album, this is really potent and very strong, come to life live. It's really nice to hear them do it with the current lineup. So check it out.
I regret I was going to go to that concert and I had other stuff going on and I couldn't make any of the 3 nights, and I regret it. It's
Oh yeah, so you mean you would have been at that show?
Yeah, I was originally planning. They did 3 nights. I was going to go to all 3, but then I'm like, I got to drive to Manhattan and back 3 times, and I added up all the money, and it was insane. But I was going to do the first night, and then something else came up, so I ended up not being able to go to any
Did
of
you
them.
know they were going to be recording before you thought about going?
No, that had no bearing on it. But I knew it was going to be special. I knew they were going to have the guests come out like Bouchard, and I knew there was going to be, not the usual BOC show, but that's okay. But then my friends of mine who went loved it. So of course.
Well, you didn't miss it. If you go buy it, you can watch it over and over and over.
So I found out about that like a couple days ago. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. I watched the whole DVD.
Wow.
I have everyone's release so far except Ryan's. What do you think of that?
You won't have my second one.
I won't have a second one either.
I don't think
No
I don't
fucking
think
way.
it's that impressive. We send you the list in advance. You could just go out and buy them and then lie.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
no one would know.
here at the review crew, I got stuff in the mail. People sent me free CDs. I was like, wow, how cool is this? I like this gig. So I'd feel like a shit bag, if I didn't like mention them. If they like sent the shit to me and I said, oh, fuck you, I'm not going to review it. Luckily, it's pretty good. And I recently got in, this just came out a few weeks ago, Hawkestral. And this is a kind of a side project of Hawkwind. And it has Alan Davey, who was in Hawkwind, I think from the 80s to about 99. He might have toured with them in the 2000s a little bit. And it's called Chaos Rocks. He's got Nick Turner on here on sax, who died in 2022. Nick Turner is great on this, by the way. The sax solos are outstanding. I own 4 Hawkwind albums, okay? That's it. I'm no ex. They got like 36 albums, and I got 4.
Yeah.
I recently started getting into this band. I was always intimidated. I'm like, they got way too much music. I don't have time to dive into all that. But I'm slowly going in, and now I got this. And it sounds like Hawkwind to me. And Pete just reviewed the new Hawkwind album and said it has lots of downtime. This doesn't have any downtime. This is rocking the whole way through. It keeps my interest all the way through. And when Alan Davies sings, he sounds like Lemmy. Sounds like Lemmy. Like a less, little bit smoother of a voice, but sounds like Lemmy. And then they got Davey Faulkner on the last track. He sounds like John Wetton. He could form like an Asia tribute band. I swear to God. or
Asia is a tribute
We
band.
need that.
Yeah, yeah, but it's on Cleopatra Records. So if you like Hawkwind, I would urge you to check this out. I think you'll dig it. Probably more than the Hawkwind album that just came out. In the same envelope, I got Reimagining the Court of the Crimson King.
And
Oh.
Alan
Also
Davies
just
on that
came
as
out.
well.
Yeah, I'm getting this shit for free, Davey. I didn't pay for
Damn.
this.
Yeah, I didn't get that, so I can say I think that's a piece of shit, that album.
I don't think it's that bad. I think they keep it
It's
true
pointless
to the
crap.
original.
Yes, exactly. So I'd rather listen
Yeah,
to the original.
they keep it maybe a little too true to the original, but I didn't hate it while I was playing. I mean, it sounds brighter, more modern. You got a lot of people on here. You got Arthur Brown, Todd Rodgren, Ian Pace, Nick Turner again. You got Steve Hillage, Joe Lynn Turner sounds pretty good on his track.
Are you
Evan
joking?
Kennedy.
He fucking ruins Moonchild. He
sounds
ruins
all right.
Moonchild.
Marty
Fucking ruins
Friedman. Look, go out and listen to it and see what you think, people.
Don't
see if
listen
it's
to
like a total disaster or decent enough like I think. I think it's decent enough. Am I going to be spending this all summer? No. But as a few spins, I thought it was free. I mean, I thought it was free.
Yeah,
I thought it was
exactly.
decent.
I think that was a rather Freudian slip there. If you get it for nothing, it's okay.
All right. They sent it to me for free. Be nice, Davey.
Well, they
Then
never
I
sent us
got-
anything. We can be nasty.
I
Then
like
I
it
got
really
a
like
He's
this.
staying up late, so he might be a little tired.
Yeah, I know. He had a
Hey, I
nap.
listened to it and didn't like it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing in the world, but I thought it was decent enough. Then I got a big package from Australia. They spent $64 to send this fucking thing.
Wow.
$64 was the postage on it.
Holy crap. 64
Yeah, it was
Australian or 64 US? Because there's a
Good
difference.
question.
US. Well,
64 US. Wow. That's like 100
Well, it would be
Australian.
I don't
Australian
know.
if it's-
Now I
if
don't know.
If they're
Do they
sending
do
it from
dollars in
Australia, they're
Australia?
paying in US dollars.
Okay. Oh, that's like 100 Australian, I think. That's I hope they sent you some good shit for that money.
I
Well,
know.
they sent me
seriously.
a lot. Only sent a couple CDs, but a lot of them. But here's the thing: in the box was a boomerang.
Get out of here.
They sent me a fucking boomerang.
Maybe they want you to throw it back.
Yeah, that's the symbol for return
when I'm
mail.
done listening
Yeah,
to it,
that's
put
your
it on
return
there.
receipt right there. I
Yeah.
got it.
But listen, they wrote us a note. Hi, Jamie. How's it going? Well, my name is Emilio, and he's in a couple of these bands, Taipan and Masters of Your Mind. And he said, we are huge fans of SOT channel and have been following for years, of which we're grateful to get to know like-minded lovers of music. The review crew is such a great idea as it gives independent artists and underground bands like us a chance to be discovered and get some exposure.
Right on.
Right. We dig you guys so much, and a shout out to Pete for all his hard work over the years. Thanks for showing interest in our music. It means the world to us. Again, I hope you and the review crew enjoy the albums. All the best. Take care. Now, look, maybe they say that to all the review shows. I don't know. Maybe I'm the guy at the strip joint going up to his buddy saying, I think the stripper really likes me.
He loves me,
I
guys.
don't know.
She wants to
But it
marry
sounds
me.
genuine to me.
I keep giving her money. She's my best
Hey, a
friend.
handwritten note is
I think
always
she date
sweet.
me. It sounds real and genuine to me. And
Yeah,
what
I
it,
don't-
I'm a
think
fan of the
everybody
shadow.
gets a
That's not
boomerang.
hard to convince that other people are too. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Most musicians are impressed. All the information, and look at Ryan. He's doing a lot of covers a lot of artists that would never get a chance if
Right.
it wasn't for Ryan doing
we're doing the Lord's work here. And here's
So,
There you go.
Taipan is one of the bands I think formed in the 80s. They didn't release a lot of albums. They released like one in the EP in the 80s and a couple in the 2000s. But their new project, Emilio, is Masters of Your Mind. Smash the System. and they sent me like 7 of these, and they sent me like 4 of these. So,
Yeah, I'd take one.
Yeah, I
Well,
will
here's
too.
the thing.
Sounds trippy.
Taipan is like almost stoner rockish, especially for guys that are older. It's traditional metal mixed with like doomy stoner stuff. It's pretty good. This Masters of Your Mind, and if you open up, it has They Live in there, John Carpenter's They Live. So
Oh, yeah.
their whole theme of the album is kind of like don't conform, think for think for yourself. It sounds like it's not as metal though. I read somewhere they were comparing themselves to 80s Rush. Yeah, I hear that, but I hear a lot of Bauhaus. I hear like Sisters of Mercy, but it's upbeat, fun, danceable, textures of guitars, textures of keyboards, not really screaming guitars. The last song on here, the Smash the System, the song, is the most anthemic and rocking. But if you play this at a party where people are into like goth, it's going to keep the party going, no doubt. It's a fun record.
Jamie, would you say it's like post-punk?
It's kind of like post-punk, yes.
Give me one of those.
Gothy yeah. Is Bauhaus post-punk? I
Yes.
guess it kind of.
Yeah, they're of that school.
Yeah.
They're yeah.
Yep.
It's around that kind of stuff.
Saying that
Although-
name has got my attention. I'll tell you.
Although
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, right.
I
They
think
sent me this
Sisters of
many
Mercy.
And they
Sisters of
put
Mercy,
names
the
on
dance
here.
school.
They wanted me to give this one to Rock Fantasy. This one's for the review crew. This one's for Ken Golden. This one's for Steve Keeler.
That's
This
Rock
one's-
Fantasy. He doesn't get 2.
I don't know if they thought that we all work together in the same building and I'm going.
We all live in the same house.
Yeah.
We're all in different
Yeah,
rooms
right.
now.
But I
Okay,
was
there's a
thinking,
pinball hall and behind it.
I was
It's like the
thinking-
Beatles and Help. It's all one big building with different doors.
Yeah, we're all just. I'll run out one door.
Yeah.
I'll come in the other door, and like Scooby Doo. We all run back and forth.
see
in the
it's,
hallway.
yeah, see you Tranquility Central. So I thought I could get everyone's address and start sending these out, and would they even care? Would they even open them?
I will.
But
I
you
will.
know
Who
what?
gets the boomerang?
Yeah. The boomerang.
This is what I thought, and I hope you guys don't mind. This is what I thought I would do instead.
Sell them
I'm
on
going to give
eBay.
these away to viewers.
Oh,
No.
Yes, I'm giving away to
No.
viewers.
I'm a
Karen.
viewer. You're a viewer.
can
Kate.
join the
Yeah,
I'm
podcast.
I'm viewing you right
I
now.
watched your review of Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm even going to keep the stickers on there, so you can get like Rock Fantasy's copy or Pete Pardo's copy.
I want Pardo's copy.
I literally do live like 5 minutes from Pete Pardo. Like I couldn't walk there, but I could drive there very quickly.
All right, I'll send one to Karen to shut her.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now I got. I
No,
still
no,
got a
no,
lot to
really.
give
Give
away.
it to a viewer. I'm just
All right,
messing
all
around.
right. I'm giving away gifts. People watch this show and go, "I miss Pete." Does Pete ever
But
give
tell
me
us,
gifts?
Jamie, how can the viewers receive these albums?
Now that's a question.
That is a good
So
question.
it's going to be real easy. I'm going to tell you at the end of the show how you could be a winner. At the
So
end.
remember, like, share, subscribe, ring that bell. Oh no, we're not turning into one of those channels. Though.
Tell you at the
Smash
end.
that like button.
So you have to
Smash
watch
that
the whole
fucking
show,
bell.
or you can just fast forward and cheat and find out at the end.
Oh,
But I
that's
hope you
cheap.
watch the
You gotta
whole
watch
show
the
to
whole
find
thing.
it.
No.
Watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
Watch the whole thing. Next round.
Yeah.
Ryan.
All right, so I'm going to say the band name. I'm going to show the album. I'm going to say the title. I'm going to give a little disclaimer, and this is going to cause a little giggles, but it's all right. That's what we're here for. So this band's from Portland, Oregon. So you kind of asked me last minute, like I said. So I do have a lot of new albums. So I was going through like, I could talk about this. I could talk about this. And I picked an album that I really like and I do want to talk about. But I also picked it because it's going to get a little, well, anyways, here we go. So from Portland, Oregon, the band is called Hemorrhoid. And the album is
Nice.
called Hemorrhoid. Yes, it is. I'll take it. You know what? There's reflection on there. I apologize for the
Rick,
jewel
your
face. The album's called Raw Materials of Decay. So I
think
said the
filling
name, I
this out
said
as
the
well.
title. Here's the disclaimer. I think it is very important that metal or music or even art in general, movies, comic books, whatever, has that level of stupidity and like lowbrow entertainment. That's an important component that I think should never be neglected. And it's part of the family. Obviously the other side of the equation is also awesome. And usually what I listen to and enjoy, but the lowbrow stupid shit has a rightful place at the table. I firmly believe that. That said, if I second the tightrope walk here, is if you're going to be in a band or make a movie or anything that is kind of lowbrow and of that nature, it's not an excuse to basically be less than honest with the craft or not take it seriously, like actually pursuing the music. So you can be in a band like this and write music like this, and I'll talk about it in a second. But you can't be like tongue in cheek. I'm not going to put the effort in. You still need to write, have good songs. There still needs to be good, musicianship. There still needs to be an honest effort at like producing something good. And this, I think we can think, like that's why I think a lot of old, like kind of low budget horror movies from the 60s and 70s, you look at, you're like, these are, I almost want to say cheesy, although I don't feel that way. But like there's when the filmmakers made it, when these actors made these movies, they were very sincere and even though they had little budget and not a lot of talent sometimes, and scripts were kind of but they were very sincere about it, and those movies to me stand up. And so stuff like this, also, it's got to, if there's a sincerity and like an honestness to it, it stands up. So, Hemorrhoid from Portland, Oregon. This is death metal. Duh, it's not prog rock, and it's certainly not spa or jazz. It is death metal. It's death metal of an early '90s persuasion, and it's very, I'm going to use words like sickly, gurgly, mucusy, words like that. But it's also very, I'm going to throw out some band references from that realm. So bands like Autopsy, the band Carcass, but early Carcass, only the first 2 Carcass albums. Once they started becoming a little more melodic and started bringing in a little more traditional heavy metal, not that, just the first 2 Carcass albums when they were still a bunch of young guys living in Liverpool. What does this album have? It's 15 songs. I'm not going to say the song titles because I don't want to get the show flagged in any way. But I'll say one because they say it a lot on TV when they do medical ads. Song 4 is called Moderate to Severe Plaque Psoriasis. So yeah, lyrically, it had, it's not, they're not writing these deep, profound questions. This is not philosophical stuff. This is like straight to the point, gurgly, smash a couple beers, smash your fist against the table, good like party death metal, which I love. I love that stuff if it's done well. And there's a lot of bands, and there's the tightrope walk that when they start doing this kind of stuff, I feel like they don't take it seriously, or like, all right, you're kind of low, tongue in cheek, low brow, and that's fine. But, yeah, it sounds like you threw this together in 5 minutes, or like you're just like between takes, you're giggling and laughing, I don't like that. If you're going to do it, but do it like fucking mean it. Right. Yeah, whatever that's basically it. Whatever you're doing, fucking mean it. And these guys sound like they genuinely has an intensity for this kind of music. Now, again, if you like death metal, I'm not going to be like, well, guys that like Opeth and stuff like that. This ain't that kind of death metal. I do want to put a big disclaimer out there. This is like nasty stuff. But for that style of death metal, it does have what I like. So it has the bass guitar, which is absolutely disgusting, which I love. I love that in metal in general, but if you basically think where like, Lemmy started with that really distorted bass, and then bands like Voivod, Celtic Frost kind of took it from there, where the bass is just tons of pedals, tons of effects, just filthy and loud in the mix too. I love that. There's only 15 songs. It's a little bit of a grindcore, so it definitely has that death metal grindcore. But grindcore bands can, shrink song lengths to like 30 seconds. You get 100 songs, and like the songwriting loses because how much can you pack in there? These guys thankfully don't do that. Songs are regularly about 2 minutes long, so I could easily, in fact, I am going to see them in June. They are coming to New York City, so I'll be seeing them. I could easily see this great music to pound beers too. I'm sure there's going to be a pretty good pit going.
Please buy a T-shirt that says Hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
I actually do have, when I bought this album, I also bought the T-shirt. I should have worn it. I'm wearing this Nosferatu shirt because I saw the movie the other day.
Yeah,
but I do have a shirt with this album art, and it's pretty.
I wonder what their promotional material sounds like or feels like when it comes through the post. Hemorrhoids. And,
yeah, I could see getting mixed up with
cream and
interesting.
Stuff,
No
so boomerangs.
As far as the legibility of this title, you can actually read that pretty easily.
Yeah.
You cannot understand what he's saying. It does. There are songs where it sounds like a toilet's backing up. I'll be honest with you. But that's how this music sounds, or this particular niche of death metal. But I like it a lot. This kind of death metal I don't like all the time. I have to be in the mood for it. And like I said, a lot of times I hear bands and I'm like, you're not convincing me. The songs aren't there, the feel is not there. It just sounds silly. It sounds like a bunch of guys just fucking around. But when it's done well, like any good music, when it's done well and it's authentic and it hits hard, this kind of metal, it's like, all right, I'm into it. get me a beer, and I'm gonna go run into those 5 people in that room. If the band's playing, if that just randomly just run into people, that's psychotic. Yeah. So
Wow.
I like it. A little different than this other stuff we've been talking about, but that's why I picked it. A little different.
That's why you're here, Ryan.
That's
Yes,
right.
thank you. So it is on a small independent record label. I do love supporting little record labels. I love ordering art from the label, and I like everything about that. Label is called Headsplit Records, also from Portland, and it turns out the drummer is the owner of the record label. A very tiny
cool.
label. They put out a bunch of stuff a year, mostly CDs and cassettes. The drummer is named Disguster. That's not his real name. That's not what his mama named him.
Yeah.
The guitarist, his name is Seth. So his name in the band, which I thought was kind of funny, is Crystal Seth. I got
I
a kick
love
out of that.
it.
And I can't say the bass player's name on air because I don't want to get the show flagged. So
Aw,
we'll just leave it
pretty.
from there. You can Google it. Google is your friend. Yes. So Hemorrhoid from Portland, Oregon. And I tell you what, if you are into this kind of metal and like real underground stuff, there's a lot of really good metal bands coming from Portland these days. I don't know what's in the water over there. Hopefully not lead or anything like that. Knowing America's water supply though probably is. But yeah, there's just a lot of cool stuff coming from Portland these days, and a lot of little record labels. It seems like they got like a good. I don't live there. I've never been there, so someone's gonna comment and be like, "That's bullshit." But honestly, as an outsider, it's like there's something pretty cool going on over there. So you can add this band to the pile, and all the other bands on his label too are good. So I'm a big fan. So there we go. Hemorrhoid from Portland.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I don't have
Big
that
fan
one.
of that DIY. Make
If
your
somebody on this channel
Hemorrhoids.
told me they had it, I probably this chair would just disintegrate. I'd be surprised. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
label's totally DIY, which I
Come
love.
on,
love
Jamie.
that.
Where's your copy of
Yeah,
Hemorrhoids?
you got. at
I
least
got a
3
few
of them.
hemorrhoids. Does that count? I'm
Oh.
counting that. I got that.
It's close enough.
TMI.
Close enough. Don't show us though. You don't got to show us.
Yeah.
We'll take your word for it.
Mhm.
All right. I think I got Karen's next one though.
I know you do, and I want you to chime in on this one. You too, Ryan.
Stand by. You can talk. I'm just getting my copy.
Vinyl worthy. It's vinyl worthy.
It is.
Yeah,
it
it's vinyl
is.
worthy.
It is vinyl worthy, but I
Oh.
only have the CD so
Yeah,
far.
I got this.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You
I got it, by
guys,
the way.
I honestly, I thought the record would be good, but I did not expect it to be as good as it is. Oh my gosh. Definitely vinyl worthy. Absolutely. It's a beautiful gatefold record. Woo. I don't know where to, I had a whole bunch of stuff written down. Saul's Golden Curse is my favorite. Darker Fleece, the last song on the album, definitely gave me flashes of sleep. I mean, this to me sounds a little bit like the older High on Fire, more sludgy and slower, but you still get that the beating still has like that mix of Motorhead and thrash and doom, make it very distinctive. You mix it up and you slap it on some vinyl, and that is the best stuff ever. Matt Pike sounds great. A lot of people I heard comment were surprised, that Dez, their longtime drummer, is gone. They got this guy Cody Willis, and he was in Big Business. Drums are very primal.
I think he still is in big business, right? He plays for the Melvins too, if I'm not.
He used to play with the Melvins, yeah.
Okay.
But knowing that, and knowing Big Business, it's not surprising at all. Big Business is one guitarist and the drummer, and that's it. And you're competing with a guitar player. You got to be loud. I saw Big Business on a couple of years ago at Desert Fest, and they were really interesting, and they held my attention, and the drums really moved me. I really feel it inside. And that's what I'm going to say. That is a huge driving force in this record. Those primal beats are relentless. They do not stop. Do not stop. They have that, what song has that little interlude of, my notes, guys? I forgot my notes.
The Indian like sitar thing.
Yeah.
That's your name. Karen Lick.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
not that. That's a full-length song. But one of the songs before that has that in there, and it's really cool, and it gives it a little bit more of a psych vibe. Speaking of that song, Karanalik Yol. Okay, I like it. Don't get me wrong. And Ryan, I hear what you're saying. You had mentioned that maybe it was kind of like a paranoid with
I think it was like they're going for like a Planet Caravan, throwing that in the middle there.
I don't agree. It's all Middle Eastern vibe. Jeff Matz, the bass player, is very influenced and lately has been really into Turkish psych. And it really shows. And he's mastered some of those instruments and he's applied them to this. So much into it that when the earthquake happened in Turkey, he had like a big benefit going and he sent that money there. But anyway, I digress. That song, well, as cool as it is, I really feel like it would have been better at the end of the record, like you tacked it on at the end, because the last song, Darker Fleece, is so heavy. It's like I'm getting sleep flashbacks. There are times that could definitely be a sleep record. Jamie, what do you think?
And I think I like it on the end because it's like 10 minutes long and it gives you that epic at the end feeling.
Yeah, I do like it as a closing track.
Yeah.
What?
Feeds the album nicely.
Darker Fleece at the end. We like that at the end.
Yeah, but I just think like the Karana, like Yol kind of.
That sounds like an interlude that belongs exactly where it's at.
You do? You feel that way?
Karen, is that the last? See, I don't have the vinyl. Is that the last song on side A? Because that would make sense. If it like ended the side with that song.
No,
there had to be. This has to be.
It's right in the middle, a side B.
But you know, who's going to question Matt Pike?
Not me. This guy knows what he's doing.
I think Burning Down is a great song too.
Which one?
Burning Down, track 2.
Oh yeah, Burning
Haunting
Down.
Shadows is fun.
They're all good. Actually, I'm never going to be able to pronounce this. Trismegistus.
That's close
the third
enough.
Song kind of reminded me of Dissident Aggressor. There's a riff there and it builds up and it sounds like Judas Priest Dissident Aggressor. It could be just me because I love that song so much and you know that, Ryan. But yeah, it's a great record. It's definitely worth the vinyl. Nice gatefold. I got mine multicolored blue. Jamie, tell me quickly, are you reviewing this? Tell me what you think. I want to know.
You just reviewed it. I'm not going to re-review it.
Well, tell me what you think.
Re-review cute.
It's like re-review.
I like it a lot. I like the last album. I think this one's maybe a little bit heavier, thrashier.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more progressive. I listened to it about 2.5, 3 times. And I enjoyed it every time. It's a long record, so it's hard to sit down and listen to the whole thing in one sitting because it's an hour. And when you're working and the phone's ringing and you got to take the dogs out, you know, you get distracted. But yeah, I dig it. Do I like Electric Messiah before this? I might like that one a little bit more because it maybe has a little less fat. But like I said, it's only been like 2.5, 3 listens. So.
To me, that's the appeal of this record. Oh, by the name, it's called Cometh the Storm from High on
Cover's cool too. I don't know. I didn't look who did the art, but I dig the artwork.
Oh, they always have great art. Always.
Yes.
Always. I just like it. I like it just a little bit doomier, a little bit slower. And
can we have a close-up of the artwork, please, Karen? Hold up for us. That is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's cool to ship in the clouds like that.
Yeah, it's got that kind of dark Peter Pan vibe, isn't it?
Yeah. Right? Look at that.
You know what? I'm trying to think of like what the first album I think was like 98 or 99. So they're pretty recent.
2000.
2000 was it 2000 Art of Self-Defense? So they put out 9 albums. I'm trying to think of other metal bands that have put out 9 albums in like recent history where every one of those albums was good. Because to me, they have no guts.
Solid.
Some are better than others, and they're all, you know, there's similarity, kind of like a Motorhead where it's like you got one, you got them all. But
Opeth, Master.
Yeah, but I don't like them. But they changed a lot more. But
yeah,
I don't know. High on Fire to me is really consistent, and this I admit have the lack of Des Kensel on drums because he was like a caveman, like smashing like redwood trees against like giant. You know, he hit like a fucking beast. And like as soon as I saw he was out of the band, I'm like, how are they gonna recover from that guy?
Right.
He just hits so hard and it fits so perfectly with Matt's riffing. And when you see him live too, he's not recompensating with triggers. Like he's beating those drums into submission, just pouring sweat, just arms flailing, you know, a lot of toms in there, a lot of variation. But yeah, like you said, Cody is he's up to the task. I think
absolutely. Very primal, he really smashes it. And I can't think of a better replacement. And that those drums really drive this record, in my opinion.
They've always been a band where the drums make a huge difference. Like as great as Matt is, and his tone is always like disgustingly like fat and dirty. But yeah, the drums are always a big deal in that band.
Yeah, for sure. I just like discussing it. I'm so glad you guys are talking about it with me because I get
Hey,
so
we get to
excited
talk
about it.
music instead of just
Yeah.
take turns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
I love it.
vinyl
I think it's
worthy.
I think it's a great album. I really
I
enjoy
do
it.
too. I do too. I knew it was going to be good, but not this good. That's so.
Davey, what you got for us? Some black metal?
No, it's depressing as fuck. I mean, it's called Death Songbook, so it's not shiny, happy people. Um, Death Songbook is a project, and I always hate to say it's a project. It makes it sound very pretentious from the outset, but this is very noble. Um, Brett Anderson from Suede, one of my favorite frontmen in the last 35 years, is the singer for this project, and essentially it takes songs of loss and grief and darkness and blah 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 from the mainstream, including a couple of his own back catalogue tracks, and reinvents them with an orchestra. But when you hear that, you might think, oh, it's a bit, is it one of these philharmonic affairs? No thanks. It's more like Peter Gabriel's albums from about 2010. Was it New Blood and Scratch My Back? It's more that kind of vibe, how he's doing it or how they're doing it. So Parrot Orchestra is the project featuring Brett Anderson. And they go through some pretty famous tracks from relatively famous tracks these days, I suppose, but famous enough in their own fandoms, such as Echo and the Bunnymen's Killing Moon, one of the great post-punk tracks, one of the great post-punk singles of all time, probably. Unsung's Brett Anderson's own track, but they even go as far as a real deep cut like Holes by Mercury Rev from Deserter Songs, which
Oh,
is
wow.
total dream pop stuff from when was Deserter Songs 99-ish, something like that. So they're taking kind of anything and everything from all over the place. I mean, they do Night Porter by Japan, which that's a bit of a deep pull. Or let's see, pick another one. Enjoy the Silence, Depeche Mode. So they're really pulling all sorts of tracks that aren't just linked by being from an era, being from a genre. They're linked by theme and how they can be reinterpreted with this mild orchestra. Again, it's not a full-blown philharmonic. It's much more of, think the John Barry orchestra for the James Bond theme. We're talking more that kind of vibe. So it kind of reinvents them and brings them into this more cinematic, widescreen approach to music rather than anything a bit too classical. Because I wouldn't know my Tchaikovsky's from my Rachmaninoffs. Can't even say that sentence. But yeah, and then it adds in quite a few tracks from Brett Anderson's back catalogue.
Did we lose him?
I know, free frame there.
I didn't know if I
We're
was
just really
lost
good at
to you
like.
guys or if he got lost to us.
No, he froze to
I
me
don't
too.
know.
Yeah,
Baby,
just like perfectly.
come back to
Good.
us. Or did he
Hi.
fall asleep? He fell asleep. It's like 3 a.m. there.
Yeah, he couldn't take it
Understandable.
anymore.
That is
Well,
Learned it.
we're going to have to maybe move on.
Let's keep
and
him
hope he
around for a
comes
minute.
back.
Usually it unfreezes after a minute.
Yeah, I keep waiting for him to come back, like Max
Usually.
Headroom.
Yeah, Max Headroom, yeah.
I'm gonna start
The
doing
Coca-Cola Ember.
Ryan Scout, do you know who
Oh,
Max
he's
Headroom is?
gone.
Yeah,
I do. Oh, he's
he has
gone.
to
I do
go
know who Max
back.
Headroom is.
He has to
probably has
go
to come
away
back
probably
now.
in order to come back.
Yeah.
Oh, he might come back. I might get the pop-up saying, God, we had such a great show going, and then the internet.
Yeah.
Still have a
Happened.
great show going. Don't
Fuck
get
it.
it twisted.
I'm not getting it twisted.
Shall I continue? Just to
Well,
be
hold on
safe?
1 second. Let me see if I
Okay.
got a text from him saying, hey, I can't get on or something. Nope.
If he got Wi-Fi issues, he's not gonna be able to text you that either, probably.
Well, you can use data to text.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Rick, we'll move on to you. And if he comes back, he can finish up.
Yeah, we'll give him the floor again, right?
Yeah.
So my next subject, and by the way, today has been the frontier record for me, both bands. I'm going to focus on this one. Jack Russell and Tracy Guns put an album. It's a project. They put an album out called Medusa, and the reason I kind of took my chances on this basically because I've been into that lately. That these bands that are putting the super group together, like Whitesnake had Snake Sharma, the members that played in his band put a band together, or Black Swan, they would get Rob Beach and the others, or even the Winery Dogs is a super group of people with a lot of talent, and they support the singer. In this case, the same thing. These songs are written for Jack Russell to sing, and then we know Jack Russell's history. He's from Great White, and Tracy Gunn from LA Guns. Now, I don't have any LA Guns. That's not really my there was a lot of those type of bands. I only had a selection. I didn't get every one of those bands. Some of them sound, I don't know if they were cloning themselves, but it just didn't stand out. But Great White was one of those bands that I did listen to right up to maybe Psycho City, 1992 maybe. And it wouldn't be long. I think the last album I ever got was 1998. They did a live album on the Led Zeppelin. So they did a real good show. So anyway, the reason why I also took a chance because I heard that they're coming together and they're famous for their blues, rock, hard rock stuff, and so I just thought I'd take a chance. And it's not an awesome record, but it's a decent record. It's fun. It's high energy. I think they got one slow tune on it. That's it. They rocked all the way through. Living a Lie is the only one kind of like bluesy, and it rocks. But I think I'm more excited about the production than the actual song because they're basically generic. I mean, these guys are up there in the age and they're singing like they're still in 80s and 90s in terms of the lyrics. There's a lot of rock and roll cliche, maybe outdated a little bit. Picturing you guys are in your 50s or 60s, right? So anyway, but other than that, the energy's there. And I like the production because it sounds like the way a power metal band would be recorded, or even like these guys, they max them out the volume so it's a real loud sounding album. And even though it's hard rock, but they gave it the potency like a hard rock, like a metal band when it came to the mixing. Loud drums, loud guitar, loud vocal, and just maximizing the input as how louder you can make everything, and it's great. So I enjoy the record. There's some songs that stand out, but like I said, I don't love it. I like it. It's enjoyable. It goes by really fast. Next in Line, Tell Me Why, Where I Belong. There's some good tunes here. Back into the Arms Again. I believe that if they work on a second album, it'll probably even be better. Like, I did think this is a good launching pad for them because, they give you what you expect out of them. I mean, if you know the band, you kind of know the personality. They didn't live that down. Just that when you listen to this kind of music, some of it predictable and generic. And I'm just saying sometimes I like to be surprised. And I wasn't really surprised. But then again, it was a safe bet. If you want to know that what you're getting there, you didn't really gamble. It's a decent record. It's not awesome, but it's definitely entertaining and goes by really fast. So check it out. And like I think if they do another project, just like Black Swan did and the Snake Sharma and others, it got better as they worked together. And I got a feeling that there's some good stuff still to come.
All right, cool. Davey, you want to finish up? What happened over there? Your internet get cut off?
The Wi-Fi. But no, I mean, if it's an album about death and the mortality of things, then probably quite good to just get cut off randomly in your praying. So I think I will
It
just
looked like you were dead.
there.
When you rewatch this, you'll see it looks like you were asleep in a dead kind of way.
Yeah, you kind of just
You're
look like
right.
you slumped over there. Like,
Just after I talked about my death by Jacques Brel.
You look like my mom in the middle of the day when she's watching TV, and I got to look to make sure she's breathing.
Jamie, where's the remote? Jamie.
TV won't work.
My mother's the same. Why is the remote not working? Because that's your phone, mother. That's your phone. Anyway, no, I've got nothing more to add. Echo my previous comments. I agree with everything I said.
Yeah.
So
What a
right.
great spring, though. So much good music is coming out. I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
And so much more is still yet to come.
I know.
Every time Jamie's invited me on, or even the ones I've not been able to make, I've always thought, wish it was the next one because there's already about 3 things out in the next 2 weeks. You
Yeah.
think, oh, I wish I could talk about that
Now,
instead.
Pete asked me if I want to do this weekly.
Oh,
Heavy lift.
seems you might say yes at one
no-
point
I'm
and then,
no Pete.
and then regret.
I'm
Yeah,
barely a Jamie.
you know what will happen. And why don't you start doing some daily? You could take over some of my daily shows, Jamie.
No,
Come
that's
on, Jamie.
I'm just gonna take the whole thing and just
I'm good.
I'll just keep the revenue, Jamie, but you do the shows. Pete,
Speaking of which,
Pete knows.
is it my turn?
Yes.
it is.
Okay. All
Take
right.
us home.
Well, you know what I like to do. I like to get a case of the singles. Collective Soul, Mother's Love. If you're a fan of 90s Collective Soul, it sounds, they have that riff. It's okay. How do you say this, Karen? UFO Mehmet or UFO Mehmet?
Oh,
Ufomut.
Ufa Mamut, I
Is
think.
that how you say it? Like
That's how
like if
I
you bang
say
your
it.
toe, oof from my foot.
It sounds as good as any other
Ufa Mamut.
pronunciation I've heard.
What's going on, eh?
Kismet. It's a pretty cool 8-minute song. For 8 minutes, they keep it interesting.
Yes.
New Dark Throne, Black Dawn affiliation. They got
I
some cool
pre-ordered
riffs.
that already.
They
Me
got
too.
some cool riffs. They come up with riffs this many decades later that are still cool. New Big Head Todd and the Monsters Thunderbird. Sounds like Savoy Brown. It sounds like a blues song. Evergrey Fallen from the Sun. I was never a big Evergrey fan, but I always keep giving them a shot. I don't know. Like, I think they're going to finally impress me. It's
When
not
are
a
you gonna
good
learn?
song. That's why I put it there. They get very close to power metal, Karen. I don't think you dig them. They're like Camelot a little bit. And then Kerry King, his second single, I believe, Residue. I don't like any of the songs that he released so far. I think they're kind of generic.
I think that one's worse than the first one, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
didn't like the first one at all. And this
No.
one impressed me
Yeah.
by being worse, which
yeah.
might
He's
make
got
it the
the
worst
cool
song he's ever
logo.
written.
He's got the demon. He just doesn't have the song.
He just
Yeah.
doesn't have Jeff Hanneman. That's
Well,
what it is.
maybe you should have let the demon write the song. Might turn out
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Sell his soul for a better album. This next one I've been looking forward to for quite a few months. I've been so excited about it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and I understand that. Well, actually, I don't understand. Well, I kind of understand it.
I talked about a band called Hemorrhoid. Who cares?
My wife is so shocked that everybody doesn't like this band that's on Sea of Tranquility because she always says, I thought every white guy liked Pearl Jam. No, that is not the case. Pearl Jam, what's the name? Pearl Jam, formed 1990. Where? Seattle, Washington. What do they play? A music a lot of you hate for some reason. You know who you are. Album Dark Matter, released April 19th, 2024. So if this is on Saturday, that's 2 Fridays ago. It just came out. So I've been looking forward to this album for a very long time. And little did I know a few months ago that this album would be kind of become very personal to me. It came out at the exact moment I needed it. But I'll get into that later. How is the music? Well, it's Pearl Jam. It's not, if you hate Pearl Jam, it ain't going to turn you into a fan. If you love Pearl Jam, you're going to like this record. If you're one of those guys that go, well, I only like 10 and everything else afterwards sucked, you're going to like half this record then. Because you got songs like track 1, Scared of Fear. Sounds like it could be on 10. It's got that anthemic feel to it. So like the old school Pearl Jam, people might gravitate towards that. Then you got Wreckage. Oh, what a fucking song. And Won't Tell. There's your daughter. There's your elderly woman behind a desk in a small town selling cigarettes or whatever the fuck the name of that song is. There's your like acoustic Pearl Jam that, you know, gets played on the radio. Then you got Dark Matter, which I cannot believe became a rock radio hit. Makes me feel good that PJ is back on the radio. And Running. That's your punky, upbeat, rocking Pearl Jam. And then ends with Setting Sun, which has this great big guitar solo at the end. People say, oh, Pearl Jam never does guitar solos. There's guitar solos all over this album. Matt Cameron is playing his ass off. Mike McCready on guitar, got the solos everywhere. And for better or worse, Eddie still sounds like Eddie. I love that Eddie he's like the Bob Dylan of hard rock, I feel like, an alternative rock. Some people just hate his voice so much, like Jim Bakke, who is part of this crew sometimes on Sea of Tranquility. Not the review crew, not yet anyways. He hates Eddie Vedder's voice. The production by Andrew Watt, who is like the big go-to guy these days, did the last Rolling Stones
Rolling
album.
Stones, Ozzy.
Pop rock guy, the production's big, it's bold, it sounds great. Now, here's the thing with PJ Pearl Jam. They are the only active band that I have been following for over 30 years since the very first album. The only one. I feel like me and the members, they don't know me, I don't know them, but I still feel like we've been growing up together. And I bought every single album the Friday it came out, except 10. 10 I bought like a month and a half after it was released. But Versus and every single one for that 30 some years, I bought on the Friday. During the pandemic, Gigaton came out and there was no Amazon Prime. I was like, how am I going to get that record? My record store delivered it to me on that Friday like it was a pizza. Fuck yeah.
Clutch move.
Keep going. It
That's
keeps
a
going.
great move, really.
Yeah. So this band kind of means a lot to me. They were there in my when I was dumb in my 20s, being stupid, doing stupid things. They were there in my 30s when I was being stupid, doing stupid things. They were there in my 40s when I was still fucking doing stupid things. And now they're here in my 50s.
Now you're in your 70s.
Yeah, now that I'm maturing a little bit.
Trucking along, doing stupid things.
Yes.
Stupid things make it fun.
They are. I like doing stupid things.
Stupid things are fun.
When it comes to this album, though, God, is it my very favorite Pearl Jam? There's, of course, there's Pearl Jam albums that I like a little bit more, but this one might end up being maybe the most important one to me because, God, it's just much more than an album to me right now. It's oh fuck. As you guys know, I lost my dad April 6th, very suddenly, and he wasn't expecting it. We weren't expecting it. He had still fucking Amazon shit coming the next day. But so this album came out and became a healing device for me. It was a reminder to me that so many changes go on in the world. Outside in the world, you turn on the news, you see so much fucking changes for the worse. Sometimes in your personal life, you get a lot of changes, and a lot of times those are for the worse. What you need, that I feel like in your life, are certain pillars of stability, things that are always there, reliable, and don't change. And for me, one of those things is Pearl Jam. They're still there. They were there when I was drinking 7 nights a week, every month, every year, at 21, and they're still here for me now when I'm dealing with this fucking shit. And if you don't have pillars in your life, you might just notice them, find them, and hold on to them, because you're going to need them. Because when life throws you a tornado, you need to hold on to them for support. I mean, like Eddie sings in the song Wreckage that I absolutely love. I'm combing through the wreckage, holding out, and holding on. So, yeah, so this album is going to mean something for me for the rest of my life. Now, going back to my dad, I just want to mention, he loved watching Sea of Tranquility. He loved it to death. He'd always tell me, I watched you last night. You did good. I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, but you did good. And then he said one time, do you ever cover doo-wop? No, Dad. We don't cover doo-wop bands. But I liked that he was watching me because I never got to, I'm in Columbus and he was in Pittsburgh. I never got to Pittsburgh as often as I wanted to. So when he was watching me on TV, I felt like it was kind of like it was almost like me visiting. I was visiting his living room on the TV. So I always thought that was cool. And I said, I don't want to forget, how do you win these CDs that I got here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this video on Facebook, on my Let's Get Physical page. So if you're a member of Let's Get Physical, make a comment on the video when I post it. If you don't belong to Let's Get Physical, find me on Facebook. Let's Get Physical. That's what it kind of looks like.
Oh, he's a
Join.
whore, isn't he? He's a
What's
whore.
that?
You're a whore. Oh, you have to join the group to get a copy,
Yes.
you know.
Well, join the yeah. Join
Hey,
the
they were
group.
mailed
Make
to
a
Jamie's
comment.
house.
Join the group. You don't have to join the group. You don't have to enter. It's just a silly
I'm on it.
fee.
I'm there too.
Join the group, make a comment, and then I'll pick out like random winners. I don't know. I'll pull numbers out of a hat and then count down second comment because I pulled out number 2. And I'll message you. It has to be on Facebook. Can't be on YouTube because I can't message you on YouTube. I'll message you and I say, hey, where do you want me to send the CD? You tell me and I'll send it out my expense. I'm not a whore. I'm paying for this. This is going to be like $2.50 each.
You get sent a boomerang. Don't act as if you're the good one here. The
just
boomerang
don't,
guys are the nice ones.
Baby, I'm going to get sentimental. Shut the fuck up. Just
Ugh.
don't comment. You got to tell me what you consider a pillar in your life, whether it's a stupid TV show, whether it's a band, an album, a movie you like to revisit, something that grounds you in your life. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's Sea of Tranquility. Wouldn't that be cool?
Right on.
Just
Don't say Sea Tranquility. That's
you could say none of your business. I'll count that as an answer. Just tell me what's one of your pillars in your life, and then I will pick out some random people. What if no one ever comments and I'm still stuck with these? Then Karen, I'm sending them all to you. Then I'll spread them out to whoever wants them. But if I get those comments, I will send you a message. You give me the address, and I'll wrap them up, and I'll go to the post office, and I'll mail them out. We're giving away door prizes here at
Right
CH.
on.
Wow.
As for my dad, doo-wop bands, no, we're never gonna. You know what? Let me just put some doo-wop bands up there. We got the Cadillacs. I don't know who the fuck they are. We got the Penguins. I know who the Pittsburgh Penguins are. I don't know these Penguins. We got the Flamingos. I think I heard of them. We got the Teenagers.
Yeah.
Frankie Lyman.
We got the Crests.
Frankie Lyman.
Anyone ever heard of the Crests? I never heard of the Crests.
I've heard of the Crest, yeah.
I do know the Platters.
Platters.
There
we go.
Oh, you're missing the Drifters. The Drifters.
Oh, the Drifters.
Drifters.
I did some
Dion and the
God.
Belmonts.
Yeah, right on.
Now you guys are saying names I know. Dion and the Belmonts. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's my dad's favorite.
Yeah, my dad likes
Temptation.
that stuff a lot too.
You got to go into 62.
This is one of those moments that I wish I believed in life after death, but just in case I'm wrong, I'm Hopi C. I hope he's saying we're talking about doo-wop on Sea of Tranquility.
Talking about the Platters and Dion.
Talking about the Platters and the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Pittsburgh Platters.
Right
Google
on.
Pittsburgh Platter.
Drifters.
Jamie, why don't you tell him what
Don't Google
Let's Get
Pittsburgh
Physical
Platter.
is about?
It's about physical media. I'm sorry. Thank you, Karen.
No, you're welcome.
It's about books, comic books, CDs, vinyl, whatever it is that's physical, that, that's media, even video games. Got a cool new poster or t-shirt. We'll count that. I'm not strict. I don't start going with rules. If it makes you happy, post it and we'll all comment on it and make you feel good about it. So,
And if you do, you get a physical CD from Jamie. Here we go.
You may get just
You may
not
get.
everybody.
I only
Yeah,
have
not
so many
everybody.
CDs. All right, if I get a
Roll the
lot,
dice.
I'll just start sending shitty CDs from my collection that I don't like anymore.
Yeah.
One man's trash.
It's another man's.
Is it also another man's trash? Very possibly.
All right, it's getting close to my bedtime, so let me
Yeah, right on.
go on and give us a visit at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. Give us a like. Ring the bell. Join my Let's Get Physical.
Smash that like.
We got a Ko-fi. Is it Ko-fi or Ko-fi?
Ko-fi.
Is it Ko-fi?
Coffee? No, it must be coffee because it's rhyming with coffee. Surely it's coffee.
It's a fumamat.
You know what it is. Go on there and give Pete some cash because he works really hard.
Book a cameo.
The work I put into this one show, and Pete does like 7 or 8. Dude deserves some money, so send some money his way. There's a merch table. I mean, a merch table. There's a merch link and the cameo thing where Pete will we'll juggle for you on camera or do whatever you want. So until next time, guys, when we have a new crew with new reviews, we'll see you then. Everyone want to say bye?
Take care.
Bye.